Green Arrow number 23, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Andrea Sorrentino. So last issue, Oliver had to battle against Count Vertigo to save Shadow, and it turns out that Emiko is the half-sister of Green Arrow, the father being Robert Queen, the mother being Shadow herself. So we get that set again at the beginning of the issue, and Green Arrow's like, what in the hell are you talking about? My father would never. It's entirely what? And as they're starting to try to work through that, a couple of people come out in snowmobiles and start attacking, so they have to fight against them. But first we cut over to Count Vertigo, who, because of the EMP, the technology that allows him to use his powers is on the fritz, so a surgeon is currently trying to fix it. And the surgeon is also one of his advisors, I guess, and he's just like, oh, yes, the hero that came in to save, he goes by the name of Green Arrow. We sent men out to go and capture them. And he's like, nah. These people broke into my place. I'm going to be the one that gets them. And he's like, but sir, your powers might be kind of on the fritz. He's like, whatever, I'm going to go deal with them. So the people that were sent out currently hold it to a gunpoint. We see Shadow very quickly steals Green Arrow's bow and a couple of arrows and quickly disarms the men that were aimed at them. And just like, yeah, no, pretty nice bow. I'm liking it. It's decent, but still not great. And then she fires a grappling hook arrow across this ravine so that they can zip line over. And Oliver's basically like, okay, I guess you have skill to some extent here. So then we cut back to Hungary, where Henry and Naomi are hanging out. And I mean, the whole gist of this scene is Henry is practicing that he's going to confess his love for her. And then Naomi says, hey, Henry, can we talk? I have something I need to tell you. I'm really super duper into Oliver. And Henry's like, oh, no, I can't compete with that. Jeez. All right. Good luck. We gotta move. So they make their way out to go meet up with Oliver and Shadow. Then we go back to the conversation between Oliver and Shadow, where Oliver basically gets back to like, dude, what are you talking about with the half-sister thing? That doesn't make any sense. Like that can't be it. And Shadow's like, look, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful and all that, but we do need to get out of here. Vertigo, like for archers, is really bad news because we can't aim right. We can't see. He's a problem for us. We got to go. And he basically calls her out, just like, no. First off, my father loved my mother. He would never get with someone like, and she's just like called out by it. She's like, what? A whore? Is that what you're going to call me? Is that it? Huh? Check yourself, Oliver. So then we get into this segment where the best way I could describe it is ink on parchment, where it's just single monochrome black on very like old style looking paper. And she basically explains the whole thing of she was a mercenary, a bow for hire, I guess. And she wanted to go kill a man named Mr. Ito, who was part of the Yakuza and faked being a like good businessman. And Mr. Ito was in a meeting with Mr. Queen and LaCroix, but when she killed him. And so she manages to escape. She makes her way out. She changes her costume. And when she exits the changing room, Robert Queen and LaCroix are both standing there with bows trained on her. And they basically get into a fight. And we see that she is able to overcome them. She's able to get away. But that was all part of the plan. They weren't actually shooting to kill. They're the ones who hired her in the first place because they knew that Ito was bad, and what they want is to be trained by the best archers. They're not just like journeymen. They're not people who want to pick it up as a hobby. They want the best. And so they were testing Shadow to see if she was the best. And she was. So starts training them. So then we get into the whole thing of how there was an artifact called the Green Arrow, which apparently, it gives you all, I'll just say, possesses the arrow, possesses true enlightenment, possibly even immortality. So we see that there is, of course, the Arrow clan was looking for it, but also the other parts of the clans of the outsiders, the axe, the fist, the spear, the shield, all of them want to possess these ancient totem weapons. So because they want it and they don't want it falling into the hands of Robert Queen, they basically took LaCroix, fed him a whole bunch of, oh, hey, you're standing in this man's shadow. You got to be better than him. We'll let you be better than him. And they told him to kill Robert Queen. And so he did, but not before Robert and Shadow fell for each other and had a child, aka Emiko. So Robert was killed. Shadow was captured by LaCroix and sold to Vertigo for whatever the hell he wanted, and Emiko was raised as his own daughter. So all that happened, and we then see the whole reason as to why she was handed off to Vertigo is because she was to be tortured to get the location that she knows of where the Green Arrow is. So at that point, Vertigo shows back up on a truck. He uses his powers to take out Shadow. And Green Arrow's like, oh, hey, Vertigo, you got a little sparky thing going on with your center of your forehead there. Look, I'll go ahead and just pull that out for you. And Vertigo's like, psh, what is it with you Americans and your stupid hero gimmicks? I mean, you guys get one little gimmick and you become a superhero. It's so stupid. So he fires a blast off at Arrow. Arrow fires a blast off at Vertigo. It hits Vertigo's ear. Meanwhile, it also hits Green Arrow's ear, takes him off his balance pretty badly. But it does give Shadow just enough time to basically get up and start firing shots at the both of them. And Shadow is basically like, yeah, you think you're such a hot dude here, but like, you aren't a leader. You're still hired by other greater men to do their dirty work. You're nothing but a pawn in all this. And so he manages to he gets down on his knees because Shadow's threatening him, and Shadow steals his little snowmobile and says, by the way, Vertigo, I like watching you like that. And he's like, what do you mean? On your knees. It's where you belong. And it's like, oof, double bad. So back in Seattle, if you remember, there was a whole subplot of the gangs thinking that they were having their territory moved in on, and one of them named Talkman was trying to get all the gangs together. Well, he calls up one of the other gang leaders and says, hey, the one of the leaders, Jin Feng, was killed. Chinatown is now gone. It's a free-for-all down there. Me and you got to team up. And McGowan, the other one's just like, psh, I've got tons of guns. I don't need your help. I'll be able to take care of this myself. As he sees that his entire gang is being torn apart one by one. And he is grabbed by the throat, lifted up by a man named Richard Dragon, who's like, I am going to take Seattle. It will be mine. And he throws Jimmy out the window. So that's a thing. So just to be clear, we have a villain whose name is Dick Dragon. That's on the docket. So have fun with that one. In regards to the rest of the issue, I got to say the first couple of pages, like when we were dealing with learning about Emiko being the half-sister, those fight scenes, Henry talking to Naomi, the art felt really bland. It felt kind of just by the numbers. I kind of wanted it there to be a bit more style to it because I love Sorrentino's art. But then we hit that period with the like ink on parchment style. Beautiful. Fantastic. The fact that through just sheer silhouettes, I'm able to pick up on each of these characters, some of which I've actually never even seen before. Like, I knew which one was Robert and which one was LaCroix, despite the fact that I'd never even seen Robert. Through just silhouette. It's fantastically done. I love the way this sequence was made. Everything else in this, just a solid little exposition issue and saying, here's why Shadow's going to stick along for a little bit in the rest of this story. So I'm down. It's good. It's great. Overall, I'd give this issue I'd give it an 8.5. I think my main sticking point is the Vertigo stuff, because I believe I said last issue that it felt like he was kind of underutilized. And even though they brought him back here, he still feels underutilized. Like he threw off exactly one little Vertigo ball or whatever, and then he's just on his knees for seemingly no reason. So all in all, I still think he's not that great of a villain yet. Maybe we can get there. I know we do have a villain special for him, but that's my only real critique. The rest of the issue, fantastic.